What makes a sports championship truly legendary? Is it the star power, the record books, or is it something far deeper? A series of moments so unbelievable, so impactful, that they fundamentally alter the course of history. Forget everything you thought you knew about the greatest finals, because in 2013, the NBA delivered an epic that transcends time, a crucible of triumph and heartbreak unlike any other. And by the end of this, you'll understand why. The year is 2013. The basketball world braced itself for what many now consider the undisputed champion of championship series. This wasn't just a collection of games. It was a 7-act play filled with heart-stopping twists, unparalleled individual brilliance, and moments that genuinely made millions scream at their television screens. It was as close to a perfect finals as any of us will ever see. Why is 2013 often hailed as the GOAT? Well, other legendary series like 2016 and 2010 were certainly incredible, but they often faced shadows. Perhaps an injury, a questionable suspension, or too many lopsided blowouts. The 2013 finals, it was a pure, unaltered distillation of basketball as its absolute pinnacle. With every game a heavyweight bout, every possession a chess move. But beyond the on-court spectacle, it was a seismic ripple effect that followed, which truly sets it apart. Those shots, those misses, those decisions that shook us to our core in the moment were in fact more impactful than anyone could have imagined. They didn't just decide a trophy. They reshaped the very landscape of the NBA for years to come. The setup for this epic pure storytelling goal. On one side, the venerable San Antonio Spurs. Their core of Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, already legends with 4 titles from 1999 to 2007, were on a quest to reignite their dynasty. They represented fundamental, selfless team basketball, a beautiful, methodical machine built on precision and experience. And guarding the greatest player on earth was their rising, enigmatic young superstar.
Kawhi Leonard, take 1.
A quiet force, a predator in waiting. He was ready to prove himself on the grandest stage. Facing them was the Miami Heat, led by LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, the Big Three. After securing their first championship the previous year, they were looking to become only the 12th team in league history to win back-to-back titles. Cementing their controversial super team experiment was an undeniable success. For LeBron, this series carried an extra layer of personal motivation. He had been swept by these very Spurs in the 2007 finals, an early career humiliation he was now poised to avenge. It was more than just a championship series. It was a clash of basketball ideologies. The stoic, disciplined past versus the athletic, star-powered present. The stage was set for an all-out war between these two titans. If you're enjoying the story up till now, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and we're trying to get to 1,000 subs. Game 1 immediately delivered. It was a back-and-forth slugfest, right down to the wire. With less than 15 seconds left, the Spurs up by 2, Tony Parker etched the first iconic moment of these finals into history. Dribbling frantically as the shot clock wound down, he slipped, nearly lost the ball, spun, avoided LeBron's outstretched arms, and somehow, while falling, hoisted a one-legged jumper that barely beat the buzzer and kissed it off the glass. A dagger from the brink of chaos. It was one of the wildest, most improbable shots you'll ever witness, securing Game 1 for San Antonio. Game 2 saw the script flip. Miami, ignited by LeBron, turned up the intensity late in the third quarter. They unleashed a blistering 33-5 run. The highlight? LeBron James, with the almost supernatural display of athleticism, chased down Thiago Splitter on a fast break, soaring high to deliver one of the most spectacular, gravity-defying blocks in NBA Finals history. Miami scorched the Spurs, tying the series at 1. But just as you thought the Heat had found their stride, Game 3 was a complete reversal. San Antonio exploded from beyond the arc, setting a finals record for most three-pointers in a game. It was a 36-point demolition, a veritable hurricane of downtown buckets, and the Spurs went up 2-1. Game 4 brought the Miami's Big Three response. James, Wade, and Bosh combined for a staggering 85 of the team's 109 points in a dominant 16-point victory. The series was once again tied at 2. Game 5 became the Danny Green show, and honestly, it had been the Danny Green show for much of the series. Throughout the first 4 games, he was averaging 16.5 points on an astonishing 68% shooting from the three-point range. He was a flamethrower, and in Game 5, he went off for 24 points, sinking 6 more triples, breaking Ray Allen's record for the most threes made in a single NBA Finals. Danny Green an undrafted role player, was somehow the leading candidate for the finals MVP. It was a truly bizarre yet captivating subplot. And remember that young future superstar we mentioned earlier, Kawhi Leonard? While Green was lighting it up, Kawhi was quietly doing something extraordinary, putting the clamps on LeBron James, limiting his efficiency and making him work for every single point. San Antonio took Game 5, pushing them within one victory of the championship. This set the stage for what many, including myself, believe was the greatest game in NBA history. Game 6, calling it pure chaos, would be an understatement. Within a 2-minute stretch early on, we witnessed Tim Duncan throw down a nasty dunk on Bosh, Dwayne Wade respond by bodying Tim Duncan for a two-handed jam, and then Kawhi Leonard came down and baptized Mike Miller for a ferocious dunk. It was a 2-minute sequence that defined logic. And this was just the beginning of what was to come next. The game remained neck and neck until the third quarter, when San Antonio started to pull away, building a 12-point lead. LeBron, uncharacteristically, was still struggling. But in the fourth, something shifted. James and the Heat caught fire, clawing their way back. Mike Miller, with only one shoe on, famously drained a pivotal three-pointer, cutting the lead to 4. Then, on a driving dunk, LeBron lost his headband. It was as if a superhero had shed his disguise. He entered another dimension, delivering a monstrous block on Tim Duncan at one end, then laying it in on the other to tie the game. It was a full-blown LeBron takeover. And this is where the legend truly begins. With a minute and a half left, Tony Parker hit a step-back 3 over LeBron, tying the game. The Heat turned it over. Parker hit another signature spinning jumper, more turnovers, free throws. San Antonio had a 5-point lead with just 28 seconds left. The game and the championship was locked up. League officials were literally taping off the court for Spurs celebration. The Larry O'Brien trophy was reportedly being wheeled out. Heat fans were streaming out of the arena, despair etched on their faces. It was over. At least, that's what everyone thought. Spurs coach Greg Popovich made a fatal decision. He pulled Tim Duncan, going small to defend the three-point line. It blew up in their faces. LeBron launched a brick, but Chris Bosh snatched the offensive rebound. LeBron got a second chance, and he made it count, draining a 3 to cut the lead to 2. Kawhi Leonard went to the line and made one of the 2 free throws, making it a 3-point game. Popovich stuck with his small lineup, a decision that would haunt him forever. And then the shot heard around the world. LeBron's potential tying 3 missed, but Chris Bosh, with the play of his career, secured the offensive rebound and immediately passed to Ray Allen. Allen, backpedaling to the corner, never even glanced down at his feet to check the line. In one fluid motion, he elevated, released, and drilled the three-pointer. Tie game, with 5 seconds left. It is, with full confidence, the greatest clutch shot in the history of basketball. Fake Heat fans who had left early were locked out, desperately begging to get back in for overtime. But they missed the final, iconic moment. In overtime, Chris Bosh once again delivered a defensive play of his career, stuffing Danny Green's potential game-tying shot at the buzzer. Game 6 was a mosaic of legendary performances, dramatic swings, premature celebrations, and a moment etched into the very foundation of NBA history. And after all that, there was still a Game 7. Following up what many considered the greatest game ever played, Game 7 was a sensational encore. LeBron made a tough and one, Kawhi answered with one of his own, Shane Battier transformed into a prime Steph Curry going 6 for 8 from deep, Mario Chalmers banked in a deep triple to beat the buzzer and give the Heat a 1-point lead heading into the fourth. It was absolute mayhem. With less than a minute left, Miami was up 2. San Antonio had the ball, a chance to tie. They went to Duncan on the low block and he got 2 looks at the basket, a running hook and a putback, both agonizingly missed. Shots that probably still haunt him until this day. And those misses led directly to our final iconic moment. LeBron James pulling up from the elbow, calmly burying a jumper to ice the game, extending Miami's lead to 4. The Heat made their free throws, winning back-to-back championships. LeBron cemented his status, delivering 37 points and 12 rebounds, the 4th highest scoring Game 7 in finals history. This series was as close to perfection as you can get. The impact it had on the NBA was monumental. In hindsight, the Spurs' Game 6 collapse changed everything. Had the Heat lost, it's widely believed Pat Riley would have broken up the roster. Does LeBron ever return to Cleveland for the 2016 finals? Does Kevin Durant ever join the Warriors? What does Steph Curry's career look like if Popovich puts Duncan back in the game and the Spurs win in 2013? Does Kawhi Leonard ever force his way out of San Antonio? And what happens to the Warriors? And what happens to the Toronto Raptors? The 2013 NBA Finals wasn't just a series, it was a pivotal access point in basketball history. From legends to iconic moments to the greatest game ever played, there's no doubt that it's the greatest NBA Finals of all time. It directly shaped the NBA into the global phenom it is today.